Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredible 5,000-year story of silver. It's a story not just about a metal, but about how we, as humans, have defined and used money itself. Okay, before we go any further, we have to get one really important thing straight: the difference between money and currency. See, currency, like the dollar bill in your wallet, has value because a government says it does. It's a medium of exchange by decree. But money is different. It holds value in itself. For thousands of years, that's meant gold and silver because they're durable, scarce, and easy to divide. It's a simple distinction, but it's absolutely crucial for understanding this story. Now, gold usually gets all the attention, right? We think of treasure chests and royal crowns, but for millennia, silver was the real workhorse of the global economy. For the average person, it wasn't just a form of money, it was the only money that truly mattered in daily life. I love how this slide puts it. Gold measured power. It was the king's treasure, locked away in vaults. But silver measured life. It was the soldier's wage, the farmer's profit, the coin that paid for bread and tools. It was, quite literally, the people's money. And its reign was just unbelievably long. I mean, look at this. It all started in ancient Sumeria, over 5,000 years ago. It became the backbone of the mighty Roman Empire. It powered the Spanish Peace of Eight, which was basically the world's first global currency. Heck, even the original United States dollar wasn't some abstract idea. It was defined as a specific weight of pure silver. But here's where the story takes a turn, because silver's long history also gives us a pretty stark warning. It shows us a repeating pattern, a cycle of decay that's tied directly to the rise and, more importantly, the fall of great civilizations. And this right here is the pattern. It goes like this. An empire needs cash, usually for a war, so it starts secretly mixing cheaper metals into its silver coins. That's called debasement. Sooner or later, people figure it out, and confidence in the currency collapses. But here's the kicker. Wealth isn't actually destroyed. It just gets transferred from people holding the worthless currency to those who held on to the real, pure metal. The classic example, the one everyone points to, is the Roman Empire. Their silver denarius was the bedrock of the economy. When it was first created, it was almost pure silver. A single coin represented a day's hard work for a soldier and could buy enough bread to feed a family for a week. Well, you can probably guess what happened next. As Rome's ambitions grew, the silver in its coins shrank. Just look at this timeline. It starts slowly, a little shaved off here and there, but then it accelerates. By the time of Emperor Gallienus, the so-called silver coin had less than 5% silver in it. And by the end, it was basically just a bronze slug with a thin, cheap silver coating. And the result of all this? The world's first recorded hyperinflation. That denarius that could once buy 16 loaves of bread could now barely get you one. The government had effectively inflated away a staggering 94% of its value. Now, you might think this is all just ancient history, but this pattern of governments messing with their money didn't stop with Rome. It actually reached its peak in the modern era, through a series of very deliberate political moves designed to push silver out of the system entirely. It really kicked off in the United States with something that became known as the Crime of 1873. It was a seemingly boring law about minting rules, but buried deep inside, it removed the right for any citizen to take their silver bullion to the mint and have it turned into legal dollar coins. It was so subtle most people didn't even notice, but it effectively ended America's bimetallic standard and put it on a path toward gold alone. And that was just the first of 4 major strikes. Over the next 92 years, a series of laws first made the gold standard official, then basically forced citizens to turn in their silver, and finally, in 1965, the government removed the last little bit of silver from all circulating dimes and quarters. Just like that, 5,000 years of monetary history was over. So what does that mean in the real world? Well, get this. If you have a US quarter from 1964, the very last year it was made of 90% silver. The metal inside it today is worth about $15. Now think about that. The quarter in your pocket today is worth, well, 25 cents. The old silver coin held its value because it was made of real money. The modern coin is just currency. That's a 60-fold difference in real purchasing power. Okay, so after being kicked out of the monetary system, where does that leave silver today? What exactly is its role in the 21st century? Well, it now wears 3 very different hats. First, it's a monetary relic. a lot of people still buy it as a store of value because of its long history. Second, it's a critical industrial resource. We literally can't build things like solar panels and EVs without it. And that leads to its third, and maybe most important identity, a potential global bottleneck. You see, here's what makes silver so different from gold. Most gold just gets stored in a vault, but silver gets used up. Almost 60% of silver demand comes from industry. It goes into our phones, our cars, our solar panels, and it's often used in such tiny amounts that it's just gone forever. It can't be recycled. And this brings us to the real nail-biter. For years now, we have been using way more silver than we mine. We're in a structural deficit, burning through hundreds of millions of ounces more than we produce. We're filling that gap by dipping into the world's stockpiles. But you have to wonder, how long can that last? Those stockpiles aren't bottomless. Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought. Silver was money for 5 millennia. Our current global experiment with currencies backed by nothing but government promises? Well, it's only been running for about 50 years. When you look at the long arc of history, you can't help but ask, what comes next?